to do is
You're gonna be
come back
live.
into come back in StreamYard.
You're live.
I'm live. Okay. Thank you. I can't hear you on this block talk.
Is your phone on
Yeah.
speaker?
Can you hear me?
Could you let Robert in, sister not Naima? Okay, oh, there we go. Okay, you're there. So now,
Sharon.
uh,
We're
okay.
live.
We're live, Sharon.
I'm gonna play a commercial after the opening.
Sharon, we can't do that. I gotta come on. You know what?
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers.
Hello.
People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies. So if that doesn't work, I'll call in. Home repair, transportation services, child care services, whatever you're selling, the 515 number, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Hang on, let me try
Look
this.
for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Well, all right, all right. Well, we just want to thank you. All right, we want to thank you so very much. Welcome, 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 each and every one of you here to our Saturday show. We are so excited. We have two amazing gifts today. Yes, indeed. And I want to give thanks to our CEO, Sister Naima Latif, who is the engineer and everything that you can think of, and a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful person. We're just encouraging her to continue on having such programs like this as the Female Solution, allowing us to come aboard and to be able to, as my show is called, walk in the authority, because we need places where we can network and shine and show the presence of the creator that is within us. And we are so happy that you have come to be with us today. I'm Mama Joy. And today, we're going to have a double hitter. We're going to have a double hitter today with Keishonda, CEO of the Kikifer's Entrepreneur Academy in Rockford, Illinois, taking the first part. And she is now in Tennessee with her daughter, who is a cheerleader in Tennessee. And I'm so happy that you took time to be with us today. And the second half, we're going to have Dr. Robert Renteria from the Barrio. And we're just really just full of excitement and really honored to have these two with us today. And we're going to talk about our children, our community, and this nation and the state that we are in. And I tell you, these two, just like the Female Solution, we're part of the solution and part of the process, and we just want the world to know it. So put your hands together and welcome Keishonda. Hallelujah.
I appreciate the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I tell you, last night we were with Brother Henry, and now today we're here with you. And I'm just so honored because you've done something that has never been done in the state of Illinois. And we want you to, in your own way, tell us about this great place that's called Kikifer Academy, Entrepreneur Academy.
Yes, ma'am. So my husband and I founded Kikifer's Academy. Take my glass out there. Reflections bothering. My husband and I founded Kikifer's Academy. So we are a Black-owned private school here in Rockford, Illinois. So when you say first in Illinois, we were the first in Rockford, at least, to be a Black-owned private school recognized by Illinois State Board of Education. And so what that means is that all of our T's are crossed, all of our I's are dotted. So we have students that can graduate and go on to college anywhere, right? A lot of times we get people like, so are you a school? Like, what does that mean? Yes, we're a school. We are an official, legitimate educational institution. I guess first in Illinois we're the first and only Black-owned entrepreneurial school, right? So we're not just giving our students Common Core, right? They can read, they can write, they can count, they can think critically, but we're also giving our students the tools and the resources that they need to become entrepreneurs as young people. So all of our students have to become published authors, right? So that's the first business, and that's the business that we give them. And then we give them concepts and ideas and just give them the freedom and the space to be entrepreneurs. And so they all have to publish a book every year, and they all have to become entrepreneurs. They all have to start a business, open a business, and make money from that business. So not just the concept or the theory of being a business owner, but actually going out, selling a product, providing a service, and generating income, or as we know, revenue from that business. And so that's who we are. We're Kikifer's Academy, and I'm really excited to be here.
And don't forget to mention that you are also accepted, and you're a part of the Illinois Board of Education certified.
Yes, ma'am. So our school is recognized. Absolutely. So our school is recognized with Illinois State Board of Education. So we graduate students. We had our first high school graduate last June, and then our second graduation is coming up this year. So we're really excited for our next high school graduate, and we're excited to keep graduating those high school students, and to keep producing these young entrepreneurs and sending them out into the world to go be the best person that they can be.
I tell you, sending them out to the world, independent and
Yes,
able to
ma'am.
do for themselves and to
Absolutely.
not fear the world because they have been prepared quite well for it. Can you give us a just a little tap of because we are waiting and that's just the idea. We're going to first concentrate on the vision and how you came about creating this kind of a school
Mhm.
because you and your spouse, you all have been business partners for some time. So how did
Yes,
you
ma'am.
get into in that school? How did this come about?
Um, so my husband and I wanted to find a better, I guess, education for our own daughter. And so we were already kind of in the mindset and in the space of just finding an alternative education for our own child. And I had a conversation with someone in my area, and she shared with me a curriculum that she was using. And when I went and I did a little research and I looked into the particular curriculum, I found that one, it's a curriculum that would work for my own child. And so my husband and I homeschooled our daughter until she was about 6, and then we put her in private school. So we had to put her in private school. She had to start at kindergarten, but she was ready for second grade by the time we put her in private school. But because of schedules and work and all that, we had to put her in school. We couldn't continue to homeschool. So I knew that from homeschooling my daughter from 0 to 6, I knew that you when you're teaching children, like, you start off with the alphabet, the numbers and the colors, right? We all that kind of pre-K stuff, like, all of us can do that, right? But when they get to a certain point, right, what does your second grader do in math? What should a second grader be learning in math? What should a third grader be doing in science? What should a fifth grader be doing in social studies? That information I didn't know, which was part of the reason we also put her in private school, because I needed to be able to say that I'm giving her the best education. I'm providing her everything that she needs as she continues to grow.
Hmm.
So when I found this curriculum, I found that this curriculum took out the guesswork for me, as an educator, right, with my own child. So I don't have to know what she should be doing in third grade math, or what she should be doing in fifth grade science, or what she should be doing in eighth grade English. I don't
It's
have to know that information, right? So we bought into the curriculum, and at the same time, my husband and I had kind of been in conversation and just talking about just having a school in our city, right? Because the education and the institutions in our city in Rockford are so bad, right? Especially and specifically for Black children, but it's just bad, period. But especially for Black children, right? So, as we say, if everybody else has a common code, if the education is a common code for everybody else, for Black children in Rockford, it's like pneumonia, right? It's really bad. And so my husband and I are very community oriented, right? So we didn't just want to keep this awesome curriculum to ourselves. We didn't just want to have our own daughter in this bubble and we continue to build her and grow her. We wanted to share this opportunity with as many young Black children as we could in our area, because they all could benefit from it. And the only way to do that was to start a school. So, I mean, the biggest obstacle or hump to overcome as a school is to find a curriculum that you're going to utilize. Once we found the curriculum, I mean, that was the uphill battle. From there, it's just been downhill, right? So we found a curriculum and we decided to start a school in June of 2019. And in September of 2019, the doors open.
Wow, what a story. So, you know what? As you were talking, that's why I love talking with you because I can follow you so easily in terms of looking at life and
Yes,
looking
ma'am.
at the process of organic growing.
Yes,
And
ma'am.
it seems, and I think that's something that most mothers, if you want to do that, that can be done.
Mhm.
And you remind me so much of when I started with my community. And I started
Mm.
out with the idea of protecting my children. And I said, I don't
Okay.
know these people. And so what do I do? Form a block club. It wasn't about a block
Right.
club just for a lot of people, but it was spirit given to me to start something to protect my children,
Yes.
and in the process educating them, and that's how I grew. And when I heard you say that, I said, wait a minute, that is really unique. And when you think about it, that first education had to come from somebody,
It did.
and all you needed was to have a frame or a structure by which to gauge where you were with your daughter in compliance with the educational institution.
Exactly.
You just needed
And we,
you just needed that chart to see where you
exactly.
are on point with what they're asking of our children. And then you
Exactly.
find yourself putting your daughter in kindergarten on a second grade level.
Yes, ma'am. So once we found the curriculum, and we decided to start a school, of course, my husband and I were already entrepreneurs at that point, right? So we had already opened a beauty supply store. We were in the retail business, and as an entrepreneur, even a school is a business, right? And so we kind of had to look at it from a business standpoint. Once we found the curriculum, okay, now we have to put on our business hat and how do we run this business? And we wanted to find ways to set our business apart from other businesses, right? So what makes this private school different from any other private school, right? Because people have to pay for private school. So what's going to make someone pay for private school? Well, in our community, it's the only Black-owned private school that's recognized by Illinois State Board of Education. But in our community, that's not enough. It's not enough to just be a Black-owned institution. So what can we do? What can we provide our students with that's going to set us apart from really anybody else in the country? I've never heard of an institution on this level. I've heard people talk about, oh, they want to buy into something to teach a cohort for a semester, but we're talking about immersing young people as young as 3 and 4 years old in the idea of being entrepreneurs. Like it being an entrepreneur is part of our fabric, right? You can't be a part of Kikifer Academy as a student or as an adult and not be woven into the fabric of being an entrepreneur. And so that's one of the things that set us apart from other institutions. And the other thing that set us apart is that we want our students to become published authors, right? So at the time, my husband had just we had started a publishing company, and he had just published his first book. And we were like, man, this process to publish a book, it was difficult. It was hard. But now that I know how to do it, now I can help teach somebody else how to do it. So why not start to teach our children how to publish books and then make them published authors? So in the beginning, we found a curriculum and then we just started to build on that, right? So we have a curriculum. Let's teach our students entrepreneur skills. We have a curriculum in entrepreneur skills. Let's teach them how to be published authors. We have curriculum in entrepreneur skills and we're teaching them how to be published authors. Now let's help deal with their what do you call it that a lot? I guess their mentality, right? Their mental, right? So we're not just in the business of giving your children Common Core, but we're in the business of educating the whole child, right? Because we saw from COVID-19 that COVID-19 had a severe negative impact on our educational system across the country. So coming out of COVID-19, how do we deal with that? For our students who came to us out of COVID-19 that were first graders, this was their first time entering school. So yes, they had the capacity to read and count and learn as a first grader, but they didn't have the social skills that you would want them to have coming into first grade because they missed it because they spent the pandemic doing this, right? They spent kindergarten on camera, and we know that that just doesn't work. Like this does not work for a 5-year-old. This doesn't work for any child, but it definitely does not work for a kindergarten student. So, and our students who were second and third grade, who spent the year in school, and then they had to leave school because of the pandemic and spend a year and a half on camera, they came back into school. And they needed some more additional just love and help and assistance with dealing with whatever that did to their psyche and how do they handle that mentally as an 8-year-old? How do you handle having to not be able to interact with other children and not be able to love your teacher and love your classmates? That's a difficult thing to do, is to put a child through having to be isolated. Like that's where they get social interaction from. And to be isolated from that and have to do that over a camera was really tough on all of our children. So when we came into leaving the pandemic, wanting to continue to educate the entire child.
So let me get this timeline straight. You started with Kikifer's entrepreneur school just before the pandemic. Right?
Yes, ma'am. We started in 19. The pandemic hit in March of 2020.
So you were just 1 year old.
We weren't even a year. We started in September of 2020 and we didn't finish that year. So we went virtual in March of 2020.
That's the same month that the isolation came.
Exactly.
March
So we
2020.
were affected by that, just like all the other schools
March
were.
the 13th. I can remember that date. March the 13th.
Exactly. If I'm not mistaken, it was a Friday, if I recall. That's when at least our governor called it in Illinois.
Wow, that's amazing. As we continue, I'm going to ask Sharam to have that news feed of introducing you all to the community, and friend, let me know when he's ready with that. Oh, you are ready. Excuse me. It's all yours. We can't hear it. It's not doing anything yet.
I don't think it's playing yet.
It's not playing yet. You can play it now. But you know what? Oh, Naima. Okay. All righty. So what I'll do is, we'll just continue the conversation while I get Naima to put it on there for us. This is really amazing.
A local academy is aspiring kids to dream big and helping them by giving the tools to create future success. Ari Bruckman joins us now. Ari, you joined the owners on a tour of the new location, right?
Alexis, Kikifer's Entrepreneurial Academy owners believe this school will help create a bright future for boys and girls in Rockford.
Being the only and the first Black-owned private school on the west side of Rockford that's recognized by the Illinois State Board of Education.
The Kikifer Entrepreneurial Academy held the celebration at their new home on Taylor Street in Rockford. The academy is located in a new building that's estimated to be over $1 million. Co-owner Henry McDavid tells me accomplishing this is part of a larger plan.
Can you just imagine what it would look like when the dope dealer comes to the young child in the street with the offer of doing something illegal, and the child says, I don't need your money, I got my own business. That's right. I have my own book. I'm on tour. That is the goal that we are shooting for, is to reroute the community.
The academy is a private school for students K through 12. Every student is required to start a small business that generates revenue and publish a minimum of 1 book a year. 11-year-old Samaya McDavid is publishing her first book.
My book is about a detective named Detective Maya, and she's searching for a missing book, but it's a special book because the text is written in gold and diamonds.
As a result of creating an environment focused on entrepreneurship, Henry says the academy expects to produce their first 6-figure earner in the next year.
You gotta shoot for the sky. You gotta dream big. One of the things we have our students do is watch other 13-year-old millionaires to see this is how it looks and this is what you can become if you stay on this path.
For a link to enroll your son or daughter, find this article on mystateline.com. Alexis?
All right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Just looking at that right now, tell me, what are your feelings in being here today?
That was 3 years ago, almost, maybe almost 4 years ago. That footage is blowing my mind because I kind of remember that, but wow, that was 3 years ago. And it's interesting that he said we want to produce our first 6-figure earner. We had a young man, we had our first high school graduate. I think I want to say he made about $20,000 in about 3 months. So we had a guest speaker come in that was talking about so I believe something with Bitcoin. I don't quote me, but we had a guest speaker that came in and talked to our students about their entrepreneur endeavors and what they're doing on their journey, and brought their expertise as an entrepreneur to our students. And then one of our students gravitated to that and utilized it to make money for himself. He didn't make six figures, but he made somewhere between $20,000 and $25,000 in about 3 months. So that was an awesome thing to see, is having a young man that took something that he learned at our school and be able to utilize it in real time and make money from it, right? And he had receipts, right? For those of us that's on Facebook with Cat Williams, he had receipts. So we knew that he made this money that he said that he made. So that was an awesome experience to have with that young man.
Well, honey, I just feel like if I had room, I would just start dancing for you right now. I feel, because with our program here in the Female Solution, having a couple together, a Black couple together, who was a father and a mother, actually trusting and having that kind of faith to walk out on without a path, without a trail, without anything, trusting that you were doing it. And now you had the news, and now you're in Tennessee with your daughter, because you're still nurturing her and those things that she enjoy. So your mama in two different spots, your mama at the school and your mama at home. And for some reason, you're able to put all that together. That is quite a job, because now you're supporting your daughter in Tennessee. She loves to cheerlead. Well, it may not be your thing, but you're there being a mama saying, "Hey, go for it," And tell me, that requires quite a bit of. I know. Maybe I should ask you: is that stressful, or is it joy? How do you describe bringing all these things together to make it work?
I just was at a brunch on New Year's Day with family and friends, and as part of the brunch, everybody had to go around and talk about what they were thankful for. And one of the things that I talked about that I was thankful for was the opportunity to teach and be an educator at Kikifer's Academy, because I know that my daughter's brilliant, right? I already know this, and I was sharing with my husband that somebody else was sharing me that I should start flexing on that, as they say. Like, as a parent, I should be proud of how brilliant and how intelligent she is. But what's been so profound for me in the last 6 months to a year is seeing other people's children become and grow into the brilliance that I've been able to instill in my own child. So to be able to pull out that brilliance in somebody else's child who doesn't spend 24 hours a day with me, right? I'm not away in Tennessee on trips with their children, but there's something about what I'm able to pull out of children that brings out the absolute best in them in their academics, right? We're bringing out scholars in these children, and that's been an awesome experience to see, because my daughter is almost 3 grades ahead, right? She's supposed to be in 8th grade. She's almost a junior in high school. But to see somebody else's child who's now 1 becoming 2 grades ahead, and I only see them 8 hours a day. And sometimes I don't even see them every day, right? Because I may not be in school. But to see the brilliance come out of other people's children, I keep saying children, to be able to see the brilliance come out of other people's children.
That's the ancestors coming through. That's all that is.
Yeah, other people's children, right?
Or chilling. They'll say chilling. All these chilling around me.
All these children around here. All these children, I'm able to see the brilliance come out of them, the academic scholars and the academic giants, to be able to help cultivate that in other people's children has been really profound for me. So it is like being a mother at school and a mother at home, because the same skills and the same drive and the same ambition and the same way I push my own daughter, it doesn't change at school, right? So if my daughter is required to behave and be articulate and get good grades, then the children at the school are required to behave and be articulate and get good grades. And it's one and the same, right? So if you're a child, you interact with me, you're gonna get the same thing. It's not gonna change from one child to the next.
Well, I tell you, this is amazing. And for any of you who are interested in joining this conversation, have any questions for I would say Mama Keishonda, and as she looks upon her children in the school and her children at home, and see herself raising giants, I want to let
Mhm.
you know that you can't raise what you're not. And so you're raising just who
Probably.
you are.
It's
So
probably true.
accept it. You're awesome. You are so awesome. And I'm just so proud to know that. And what I'm going to do now is we're going to go in for a commercial and come back. And
Yes,
then
ma'am.
take into this into consideration. I like that rose in the concrete.
Yes, ma'am.
And consider yourself that beautiful rose in the concrete and what you have done. And what you have done in Rockford, Illinois. So we're going to just go right now into our board for our first commercial. Now I know I'm on the board, and I should have been clear about that. But let me see if I can get to the con.
God sent the monthly sun bill
Thank
today.
you.
This sunlight is really expensive, especially during this season. I'll probably have to work overtime to pay it.
Well, you better pay it on time. We don't want the sun to go out and we're sitting up here all day in the dark.
Wouldn't it be terrible if God charged us for sunlight? Well, thank God, the light and heat from the sun is free. So why are we paying such high bills for the energy we use in our homes? Because we don't know how to use solar energy, the free energy from the sun. You can convert your regular home to a solar energy home and save tremendously on your electric bill. Take a look at your electric bill. Wouldn't you like to reduce or possibly even eliminate that cost altogether? Let one of our solar consultants show you how. Call today, 312-849-3456, and schedule a free consultation. That's 312-849-3456.
I'm Beata, your holistic life coach. These days, it's more important than ever to work on your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Are you consciously breathing deeply in stressful moments? Do you have a plan or daily routine to maintain balance in your awesome body? Are you struggling to be disciplined in your eating habits? When you partner with me, I'll help you develop a personalized health plan that works for your particular lifestyle. You can find out more about me at yourholisticlifecoach.com, where you can also review my 3-step protocol to guide you to abundant health. That's yourholisticlifecoach.com, and I'm Beata.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Well, welcome back. Welcome back. This is Mama Joy here on the Female Solution. And today we have on our Walk of Authority, Mama Keishonda of the Kikifer Entrepreneur Academy, walking in her divine authority, trusting in what she believed to be the answer for her community children started a school, trusting in how her child was taught at home, and she said, I just can't keep this to myself. I just love it. I just love it. So, I'm going to take this because I'm looking at how you dress. And I think, you're that kind of mom that when you know yourself, you know who you are. You're going to be who you are and be comfortable with you. And so when I first saw you and I started looking at you, and when you were describing what you did in Rockford, and the sad story about that Rockford situation is because I understand it's the third lowest in the country.
It's bad.
For education, and that is really bad. And I was on a program yesterday evening with Peter. Your husband was a part of that yesterday. And I didn't even know that this was back to back. So this was a surprise to me. But one of the gentlemen said that Baltimore, to just show you that the situation that you have there and in Rockford is not an isolated situation. Baltimore, the city of Baltimore, when they took their test, they could not find not one student on grade level in the whole city of Baltimore, Maryland.
One student or one black student?
No, just one student. It's not a situation anymore whereas it's the black student anymore or the brown student. Because when you understand that you in universal order, it takes time for things to come around. But when you mistreat one and you keep mistreating and you keep injustices and all these other kinds of things just going on and one it all for yourself, you find that what you have been putting on someone else is coming in back of you and taking on your offspring. So now Baltimore cannot even boast one student who is on grade level.
Wow. That's really bad.
Oh, is it? It said, I think it was Aretha Franklin would say, rescue me. But I'm putting it in sort of light because I want to be I want to be as true to you and interviewing you as I see you as you are. And when you were describing me for what you were doing, all I saw was Tupac and his poem, Rose in the Concrete. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, just give me an opportunity. I'm going to read it for you. Oh, I don't know. I had it written down here. It's not here. Oh, golly. Let me see if I can pull it up on my phone. The Rose in the Concrete. I was asking Sharon to do this for me, but just 1 second. The Rose in the Concrete by Tupac. And his poem goes like this. You plant something in the concrete. You know what I mean. If it grow and if the rose petal got all kinds of scratches and marks, you're going to say, damn, look at all the scratches and marks on the rose that grew from concrete. You're going to be like that? A rose grew from the concrete? Same thing with me. Y'all mean? I grew out of all of this. Instead of saying, damn, he did this, just be like, damn, he grew out of that. He came out of that. That's what they should say. You know what I mean? All the trouble to survive and get out of the dirty and the nasty. You know what I mean? Unbelievable lifestyle they gave me. I'm just to make something. And when no one ever cared, the rose that grew from concrete, keeping all the dreams, proving nature's law wrong. It learned how to walk without having feet. It came from the concrete. I'm just giving a portion.
Yeah, I'm following as you read it.
Because I see you as that rose coming out of the concrete of a dilemma of situations. I see you coming out with scars that are not even evident. And some of them are deep, but they'll never be seen unless you speak on it, because that's part of the struggle. You had a dream, and what you're doing is seeing others, but the potentials of being that rose coming out that concrete.
Yes, ma'am.
Each one of those children, Mother Keishonda, Keishonda.
Yes, ma'am.
I see you been multiplying, and that is what we're doing. We're not baby kids that don't die.
No. No, not at all.
We multiply, and I think that your attire works with me, because I know I had to be that, and many times I would just dress like that simply because I had to stay close to what I felt I could be, and be true. So tell me about this Tupac, because you said, oh, he's my my favorite poet, and
He is.
I never learned of him until after his assassination, and then years later, after my son sat me down and had me to listen to Snoop Dogg and Gangsta Heaven and all that kind of stuff. And I told him, I said, I don't listen to all this cussing. I don't want to have that to do. My son pushed me down and said, Mama, I want you to hear it. And that's something that we as adults, many of us need to do. And that is listen to what these young people are saying to us and what they're saying. So they will understand that their rose is coming out of concrete, scarred and marred and defamed. And rather than to look at where they come from and saying it's garbage, just take a look at them and hear what they were saying. And after a while, I listened, and I didn't hear the cussing anymore. I heard the hearts of them. And I realized, wow, how do you get here? And see, you're much younger than I am, so you're closer to that. So you hear it, and you did something about it. You did something about it. You and your husband did. Because I look at Tupac now as one of the prophets.
Yes, ma'am.
But he could only be what he was. Give me what that relationship and how he plays in some way of inspiring you.
So the one song that really inspires me that Tupac wrote was his Dear Mama song.
Oh.
So there's a line in there that I always reference, and I reference it whenever I want to thank someone or show someone some appreciation, and I want to do it in my own way. And he says, "There's no way I can pay you back, but my plan is to show you that I understand you are appreciated." And I mean, that's just that one lyric or that one verse has kind of been my way of expressing gratitude to people, especially along this journey with the school, because as a school, our gross domestic product we're not selling a tangible product that people can exchange money for. So we spend a lot of time asking for donations. We're a 501c3, and we spend a lot of time asking people to donate to our institution, asking parents to pay for their child's education. But I mean, even as a parent, unless you see the value in education for your child, what does it really mean to give money for somebody to educate your child? And so we spend a lot of time asking people to give to our institution, but we're not necessarily giving anything back. We're educating children, but we're not giving anything tangible, right? So you can buy a cell phone and you can see the tangible cell phone that you buy, right? I give you money, you give me a cell phone. You give me money, I educate your child. You as an individual, Mama Joy, you donate to the school, you don't necessarily see the direct benefits of the education that we're providing for that child. So when people
Other protection.
Exactly. So when people donate to the school, the best way that I mean, obviously saying thank you is saying thank you, but literally there's no way I can pay you back. I can't give you this money back. But my plan is to show you that I understand, right? I understand why you donated. You are appreciated. And that's when I talk about Tupac being my favorite poet, that is my favorite line. That's when he said that, I mean, that's been with me my entire life. And it carries over into our school. And when people make a donation to our school, and when people pour into our children, even if it's not a financial donation, if you pour into our school with your time, with your love, with your energy, there's no way I can pay you back. For someone to come in and give our children the understanding of how to be an entrepreneur. If you can teach our students how to invest in real estate, I can't pay you back, right? There's no way I can pay you back if you give our students an understanding of how to invest in real estate. So when they understand at 10 years old and 11 years old and 12 years old, and by the time they're 18, 19, 20, they have this deep, profound understanding of investing in real estate. That's a skill that I can't give them. But if you come and pour that into our children, there's no way, literally, I can't pay you back for that. But I understand and appreciate what you're pouring into our children. So when I talk about my love for Tupac, it is my love for him that he had for his mother, and his appreciation for his mother, and that there's no way he could pay her back for all the love that he poured into her, or all the love that she poured into him as a young man growing up. But his plan is to show her that he understands and let her know you are appreciated. That's all I can do, is tell you that I appreciate it.
And
So for
believe me,
all of those people out there that's watching that want to donate to Kikifer's Academy, I can't pay you back, but I understand why you're pouring into, because you value education, and I appreciate it.
well, hey, you know what? Believe it or not, those are the three words that I took from that. I appreciate, I understand, and I'll make a plan. And that's what's part of the words. And I have that written down because that struck me. But I discovered this morning that in that he said this, he said, and I finally realized, you see him growing into a maturity. I got a question on the board, so I'm going to ask you that. But the question, but he said, I finally realized, I understand. You know, he said, even though you were a dope fiend, you were still my black queen. Because you were doing the best that you could. So there was
Even as a black queen, mama. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I know, right? Absolutely.
You know, so I took that and I did a show on that. And that's the whole thing about he was a person of forgiveness. He forgave his mom. He began to understand the challenges that women have raising children, being a single mother. And now my question here is going to tie into this: being a woman, being a mother, being an entrepreneur, being a businesswoman, being an advocate for the community and for economic justice, educational justice. How do you work together with your husband as a couple, leading the school while keeping a relationship intact? Because so many start together and then they go to different ways and start repeating the same thing. What does it take in a relationship to make this work and keep you guys together in this?
Well, I can tell you that what keeps us together in our relationship is not necessarily working in the school, but it's how our relationship started, and how our relationship, and the foundation of our relationship, and that's putting God first, right? So my husband and I don't know, you know how people say I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I don't know if I'm religious, but I'm spiritual, right? So I believe in something, in somebody that's bigger than me, right? I didn't create myself. I am not my creator. And so my husband and I are always giving thanks and praise to our creator, right? So our creator is the head of our household. Our creator comes first in every decision that we make, and how we move, in how we operate in business and how we operate as husband and wife. And as long as we continue to give praise to our creator and thank God for just giving us life, and we operate and we move in a way that would be pleased by our creator, then everything else kind of falls into place. So it's easy to work with my spouse. It's easy to work with my husband because I understand that God put him as the head of our household, right? So as a wife, it's my responsibility to how do I put this without saying bogus? I'm trying to say what I'm trying to say. It's my duty and my job to be a good wife and a good mother of my household, and that carries over into business. So I'm not going to, you're not going to see me disrespect my husband in public, right? You're not going to see me going off on my husband and cursing my husband out in school just because we work together in school. You're not going to see me do that because I respect him as a man and the head of our household, because I respect the position that God put him in. And so we're able to work together as husband and wife because of our relationship, not necessarily with each other, but our individual relationship with our creator and our relationship with one another with our creator.
That's true. And you go back home and you stay in that relationship, and it's like whatever it is that he did wrong that you're not in agreement with, you go home and you say, we got to straighten this out.
We work it out, right? So
we got to work it out. But you don't
we
work it
gotta
out
work
in
it
the
out.
public. You don't work it out in the public.
No, we work it out the same way our creator would ask us to work out any problem in our relationship. So just because we're business partner doesn't mean we agree on everything. I think that we should do this. I think that our students should be more accountable in this way. I think that you're being too hard on the students. Like whatever the conversation may be, we handle it the way that we would, whether we were in business or whether we're just simply handling something that comes up in our relationship as husband and wife. We handle our issues and concerns and hear one another out, and we listen to one another. Like those are things that you look for in a marriage. So it doesn't matter that we work in business together. What matters is that you have conversations and you respect one another's opinions and you respect one another's thoughts in the conversation the same way you would if it was in business or if you were not in business together. So I think that my husband and I, again, are able to work together and as a couple and keep our relationship intact, because it doesn't matter if we're in business. That doesn't matter. What matters is the vows that we took and our relationship, again, as individuals with our creator and together as the two become one. If my husband ever sees this, he's had this little joke lately about the two becoming one. As the two become one with our creator. That's what drives us. That's what keeps our relationship intact, in business or not.
Oh, wow. I love that. I love that. Well, I want to thank you so much for being with us today. And
Yes, ma'am. Thank you guys.
And wishing you luck with your daughter competition today.
Thank you.
This has been wonderful. I hope you feeling good, because I am.
Do. I feel great. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here. And thank you so much. I appreciate the documentary that you all are putting together for our school and our students. And I'm really excited about just continuing this journey that you all have given us an opportunity to be a part of.
I'm going to check to see if Sharon has put the other video up so we can hear some of the voices from your students. That it was two or three in particular. Do you have that clip ready, Sharon? Okay, all righty. So let's see if Naima is able to do it. It's one with the young lady. She was saying that she was scattered brain. Oh yeah, there she goes right there. Thank you.
Yes. There's a lot of video of my daughter.
Yeah, it is. That's your daughter?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's two of them, her and the next one. And then we can cut it, but that'd be great.
I really like the pace part because you can go ahead of your grade. Let's say you're in second grade, you can be in fourth grade, even though you're in second grade at the school, and you normally can't do that with other schools. Even though you're ahead of your grade, you're still with your other peers.
Paying attention is my biggest roadblock. when I was writing my first book, I wasn't interested in it. It didn't give me that drive to want to write it. It took me a minute, and I had to talk to my friends before I actually wrote the book, because they had to give me that reason to write it. If I don't have a fun enough reason, I'm not going to do it. That's why I can't work at a 9 to 5, because I'm going to get fired the first day. To be honest, if I work at Starbucks, I'm probably going to be the type of person to use the whipped cream and just inside of my mouth. But that's why I love Kikifer so much, is because they have those electives, all of these little things inside of the day to keep me entertained, to keep my mind on my work. I have the will to want to do the homework. I have ADHD. It's hard for me to focus, but they never helped. They say they was going to help me. They say they was going to give me extra steps to help me out, make sure I focused, but it never happened. You're not going to make it anywhere if someone's not there to help you. And that's what I've seen with Kikifer. It's the best, because they there to help you no matter what.
Woo!
It's beautiful.
Ah, you're there to help. That's what we're on. Thank you. Thank you, Mama Naima. Thank you so much. And this has been really great. And so I'm so grateful. So as we come to the top of the hour, is there any words that you would like to leave with us? Contact information, phone numbers, so that...
Yes, ma'am. Can I type, or do you all have to type for me?
Oh, no, you can type.
Can I type in the chat?
Yeah, type in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna type. So I'm gonna type a link to so people can have an opportunity to donate to our school. So I think it's show chat. I think is what I need to do, right?
Now, you know what?
I'm gonna put a link in our chat, and if you guys could just share it with everybody, that's our Adopt a Student link. So this link is where you can go to donate to our school and adopt a student. And what's beautiful about our Adopt a Student program is that we said that all of our students have to become published authors, and all of our students are becoming entrepreneurs. So you can go to our website, you can adopt a student. We'll give you an opportunity to be able to stay in contact with that student and see what they're doing, see how that student is growing in their academics. You'll be able to publish that student's books. So you'll be able to kind of keep an eye on the student that you adopt. So for all of you watchers and visitors out there, please go to adoptastudent.kea.org and adopt a student at kea.org. And for those of you that, even if you don't donate, if it's on your heart and on your mind, there's no way I can pay you back. But my plan is to show you that I understand, continuing to educate these babies, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
It's not a personal thing, but you are paying the nation back. You are supplying all the roses, the beautiful people that this country needs, our community needs to improve it. This is what we need. This bringing us back to a healthy state of mind. Well, in a healthy state, because this was not even available for me when I was a child. So I thank you. You're already on the road to giving one of the best gifts ever, and that is the education and children who are at risk, and giving them a chance to tap into those divine gifts of power that they have and emancipate, set them free, so that we can be a better people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you
so much. Thank you for having me.
All right, we're going to go to our commercials now. And then when we come back, you will see and hear Dr. Robert Renteria from the Barrio. Okay. And he has a curriculum of faith as well as academics. And who knows, we might be able to hook you two together to keep this ball rolling and increasing it. So take care. Walk in your authority. God bless you, and hope to talk with you again very soon.
Thank you.
So now we'll go to our commercials now here on the Female Solution. Please let your comments come in. If you need the number, 515-605-9325 or 731-5192. 727-731-5192 or 605-605-9325. Now commercials. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Unmuted.
Have you ever dreamed of going to exotic places, meeting fascinating people, enjoying uplifting music, and spending nights in a luxurious hotel? Do you look forward to a relaxing vacation where you can walk along the beach or sit in a quiet park and enjoy the sunset or sunrise? Whether you're flying around the world or driving across the country, we will share travel tips that will help you stay safe while you enjoy the journey. Join me every third Saturday of the month, 12 noon to 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, and move around with Deborah here on the Female Solution Show. Call in and comment 515-60.
Hi, how are you? You got disconnected?
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Big difference.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
I'm hoping that this will. Well, welcome back to the Female Solution here. And this is Mama Joy speaking to you. And thank you for being here with us as we learning to walk in our authority and showcase those individuals who are doing so. And so, you know, our first half was with Mama Keishonda. And so that was a really great episode. And again, we're going to continue focusing on our children, education, and what it is that we can do to make this world better. And so I want to introduce to you right now Dr. Robert Renteria, from the Barrio to the Boardroom. Good afternoon. Now, we're not able to get a visual. Thank you so very much. We're not able to get a visual because he's here in Illinois. We had a snowstorm, so we weren't able to get the StreamYard on. So we're so very thankful that we were able to use some part of the technology. So we're hoping that you will be able to hear him. Dr. Robert Renteria, I could be trying to get all of these things together, is an amazing gentleman who is he's written this book. And again, he's written a book that is about his life. And there's a correlation, and it wasn't planned to be this way, but he's written a book and he honors himself as because of his experiences in life as a chosen one. He's went through many trials, many life-threatening and ways that his life could have been taken, but he's been spared because he feels, and I believe he's been chosen, as we all are, for this day and time, to be able to bring what he calls a climate of calm. In spite of all the things that's going on around us and the violence, this young man here has written this book, which you see, Robert Renteria, and it's told to him by Corey. It's told to Corey Michael Blake. And he's going to speak to us about his experience and what he's proposing to do and what we can do to bring about this climate of calm, which we all are in need of some peace at this day and time. And I'm grateful to him. And so I would like for Dr. Robert Renteria to come forth and to introduce himself to us and let us know of his mission. And believe it or not, even a curriculum that is so powerful based upon his book and his life experiences to be able to teach us a better way of life and a more peaceful way of life. Dr. Renteria, thank you so much for coming on today with us.
Thank you, Mama Jeff, for having me today. Really, really happy that you invited me in.
Well, okay, can you tell us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. It went kind of a little dead. Well, I want you to tell us, because you're not from Chicago. You started in Los Angeles. And
right, I was born in the Barrio, East Los Angeles, and I'll just give you the Reader's Digest version of my life story. I grew up in poverty. My father was a heroin addict and alcoholic, and my mother had to work 2-3 jobs just to make sure that we did not become part of the system, because my father left when I was 3 years old, and the only legacy he left us was a pile of bills. There's a bunch of empty bottles of booze in the trash can. When I was 6, I had a terrible accident. I almost died. I had to go to school for the physically disabled and the mentally challenged because I could not walk, talk, or read or write at that time. So after 3 years, I made a recovery. My mother remarries, and the nightmare starts all over again because she marries an abusive drunk. And he's beat up on me and also my mother, many times leaving her bloody and battered. And I'll come back to that a little bit later. So I was looking for love in all the wrong places, so I found another dysfunctional family called gangs. And I started running and gutting, stealing and dealing. I dropped out of school. My father, my biological father, dies when I'm 17 in a halfway house on Skid Row. He died homeless, heroin addict, and alcoholic. So what I decided to do was to resolve to make better life choices, because I was either going to end up dead or in prison doing 25 to life. I joined the military. And the military was the best decision of my life, because not only changed my life, but it saved my life. And not only made me a man, Mama Joy, but it made me a better man. And I learned a lot of things that the military taught me, like duty, honor, country. But it also taught me a word called character. Because character is not just doing what's right when somebody's watching you, it's doing the right thing when nobody's watching you. So after I honorably served our country as an all-commissioned officer for over 7 years, I thought I was ready to be a leader and a man. I went back home to Los Angeles after traveling all over the world. And then I ran into the same guys that were there when I left. Some of them got smoke and dusted in gang violence and drug violence, and others are doing hard time in the federal penitentiary doing 25 to life. And, you know, they called me a punk and a sour because I wouldn't run with these guys anymore. So I had to leave again, and I came to Chicago in 1990 with $200 in a duffel bag. And all I could afford to eat back then was Arby's sandwiches, 5 for $5, if you remember those. and I got a job in the commercial laundry mat industry, selling laundry equipment to the coin-operated laundries. And I worked there for 5 years, and I got recruited. And I later became vice president of a publicly traded company on the New York Stock Exchange. So after I climbed the ladder of corporate America for 6 years, I started my own business. And after 3 years, my company became the number one distribution company in the United States. And I thought I had everything I wanted because as a child I slept on a smelly mattress on a concrete floor in a musty basement where at nighttime you hear the sounds of mouse traps popping. They had in a house on a pond. And I used to walk everywhere, ride a bike or take a bus. I had a Mercedes-Benz. And I share that with you not to impress you, but to empower anyone listening, because I learned that the two greatest days in my life are the day you're born and the day you realize why you're born. And I was spiritually moved to write my first book because we have some serious problems. See, when our children have to learn how to dodge a bullet before they learn how to read, we have a problem.
Wow.
And there's children and teenagers and adults walking around lost in a culture of darkness, and I wanted to do something about it, Mama Joy. So at the top of my game, I pivoted, and I released my first book called From the Barrio to the Boardroom. And although that book has my name on it, Robert Renteria, it's not really the Robert Renteria story. And what I mean by that is that it's actually everybody's story. People that come from hard places make a lot of sacrifices, work hard.
Real true.
But in the end, we do whatever we have to do legally to come out clean on the other side. So the book's about hope and dreams and guts and desire, and yes, you can if you believe. So in 2008, that book came out, Mama Joy, and then I got a call from Chicago Public Schools, and they wanted to teach the book. So we made a deal where I had to create a curriculum off-duty hours because I wanted to pay them and I wanted to own it so I could donate that curriculum to schools across the country and around the world. So after about a year and a half, the curriculum was crafted for middle schools and high school kids, addressing critical thinking. Especially now in this time in age of what's going on with the schools, it's needed now more than ever, but we donate that curriculum. We send it electronically. So after the first year, and then having the curriculum that was created, I got a call from a group called RFB&D, Recording for the Blind and Dyslexic. And they wanted to turn my book into a CD. They have kids that are visually impaired, have reading disabilities. And they launched it nationally, and it impacts over 236,000 kids around the United States. And all of this is happening within the first year and a half. And then kids are telling me they're reading my book to their parents, Latino kids. And I said, well, don't your parents read? They said they go read English. So we translated the book into Spanish, and then the churches got a hold of me. And the churches say, hey, we see the kids in the hood with your book, but we can't get them to church. We want to use your book as a hook to get kids into Bible study, to lead them to Christ, so our kids can see the promised land, I was told. So they created and crafted a faith-inspired curriculum around the book, a spiritual base.
Yes.
And I own that one as well, and we donate that to the ministries. So we work with ministries across the country now in different parts of the world. So I'm working with kids and adults. My focus was on kids, say middle school and up. And I wasn't getting to the elementary school kids because the book From the Barrio to the Boardroom, it's at a higher reading level than, say, the elementary school. So I had an idea to craft a graphic novel called Me Barrio. We brought the book to life. And when that book was born in 2011, that book became the #1 book in Latin America, Spain, and the United States of America addressing youth issues. It was the #1 book.
What?
And now, so now we're working with kids, 3rd grade and people older than us. And I wanted to round it off. And I went back to the drawing board and we released an activity coloring book called Little Barrio. So now we have that's for pre-K, K1 and 2. Me Barrio's 3rd grade and up. And From the Barrio to the Boardroom is middle school. And all the way up, like I said, older than us. So the books are now, after 18 years, I self-funded in building this program, the curriculum, the books in English and Spanish in digital format, and then having to learn how to speak in public, starting off talking to 10 kids, picking their nose now to over 10,000 people in a stadium. But we've invested in the future of our children's education and their safety, well over $400,000 to build this program, to be able to bring something that's culturally relevant to kids, to teach them that the secrets to success are hard work, determination, and education.
Lord, wow. I don't want to hold my breath, but you're saying that your book was #1 across the waters.
The graphic novel, yes. It was featured in 65 major airports around the United States as well.
Airports.
Yeah.
Around the world. I tell you, it's amazing. And you are having challenges right now. And I am really am not only impressed, but I'm motivated because I'm looking in your books, sir, and your curriculum are being used in middle schools, high schools. I'll just read this: colleges, universities, probation, counselors, offices, social service, juvenile detention centers, jails, prisons, homeless shelters, battered women's shelters, substance abuse programs, churches, corporations, and multiple of youth and after school programs. And with all of this, Dr. Renteria, it's so quiet. You have changed. Why is it that all of this which you have done and are doing is still so quiet? This is something that more should know, and not only that, but be able to connect with all of these entities here that have been touched by your book, touched by your curriculum, and put them together so that we could just be one. I love this term you say, birth. Your book is birth, and so your book is to give birth, and we birth and we connect. So I'm looking and seeing just how you came to me is an amazing thing. And I really am encouraged, just like the young lady that spoke on the first half of the program. There is a universal force that is working with us now. Is that okay for us to say it? Because we need something bigger outside of ourselves to make this work. And your book is part of a cornerstone, I would say, of the rebirth of society. I would like to believe that coming to us. Your book has impacted on children in the middle school, and those who miss middle school in some way, they're winding up in juvenile detention, giving them a feeling of how would you say, not salvation is not the word, but saluable, worthy and valuable, and then the jail system and the prisons. This is where the homeless dwell, battered women shelters. That wasn't available to me. So we have many children. We can't even impart how important it is for us to learn how to protect our women, our mothers, and the children that they bore in the ignorance and the lack of protection that they have. This book is phenomenal. And one of the things that, and I started with your book reading it, was when we got, I had to stop, honestly, because I couldn't believe that you were actually here. And I had to think about it. And it was the accident. And can you describe for that what it was? Because you had an accident and you bled literally for 20 minutes before even help could come to you. And
yeah, that was a freak accident. I was at a carnival with my aunts and uncles and cousins. They had taken us over there. And I got on a ride called the Octopus. And what happened was when the ride ended, everybody was getting up. But for some reason, they said I went back in because I must have lost something. So when I came out, they had started the ride and swung around and hit me on the right side of my head. And it threw me some 50 feet in the air, hitting the ground with a bone protruding through my head. I had a compound fracture. And it was blood everywhere. I was lying in a pool of blood. And people were running and screaming and fainting. And it was pandemonium, basically. And it took approximately 20 minutes for the ambulance to get me and rush me to a hospital, which the first hospital was not equipped to take care of the damages that had been done. And they took me to a second hospital. And by chance of a miracle, there was a doctor there performing brain surgery on someone, and they rushed him in. And they had the surgery. I fell into a coma. And then when I came out of the coma, I remember looking up, and I was in a barrage of tubes and wires, but standing above me was my mother. And then she said at the time that, she knew God would not take away her only son. So she stayed with me the whole time praying to God. And so after being in the hospital for a few months, they sent me to a school for the physically disabled and mentally challenged to go through rehabilitation. But after 3 long years, I walked out of that school tall and strong and on my own.
Yeah.
And I remember as we're walking out, she said, my mother said to me, she goes, quitting's not an option for you. And I said, why is that? She goes, because you're Latinos and Latinos don't quit no matter what, she told me. So that seed that she put into my head stayed with me as I went along, and I got into corporate America, or even when I went to start my own business and helped other businesses all over the state of Illinois and the country. Like, you may not be aware of this, but all the spin cycle laundromats you see in Illinois, and all the Bubble Land laundromats, that was me.
What?
I'm the one who built them. I sold the equipment for them, and I created dozens and dozens of businesses for people and jobs for people in the communities.
Wow.
So that's what I used to do before I became an author, now a messenger for God. Is I was in the laundromat business.
Wow.
So I appreciate very much what Keishonda was talking about, creating entrepreneurs, because they've taken away those skills from the schools.
Yes, they have the craft school, trade schools. That's right. That's right. And I want to just go back to you when you describe happiness. Happiness was about victory, because I'm looking at that was another part of the page that I've got blue all over your book. Okay, I got blue all. I'm highlighting all over your book, and happiness. You come out of there, and happiness was about victory. You were victorious, and this is your mom there with you, and you said we had done what they said could not be done. The medical world had written you off, but you overcame this. And because they told your mother so many things, and yet even with your mother's struggle, the point is she stayed in that faith of knowing you're not going anyplace. You cannot go. You're my only son. You're not going.
The power of prayer and her will and belief in God pulled me out. Because the doctors had told my mother during the surgery that I would probably not fully recover, and if I did recover, they should consider me putting me into an institution because I would never be normal again. And my mother wasn't having any of that medicine from them.
Having their medicine, I tell you, that's the power of a mother's love. The power of a mother's love and a mother's prayer is amazing, and you're evidence of it. So I'm speaking to a miracle. And if anyone has any questions or comments that they would like to give, please note it. If you're looking from Facebook, enter your comments in so that we can respond to that. To Dr. Renteria, who is with us today. We're not able to see his face on StreamYard because of a snowstorm that we're having here in Illinois, and he was not able to do that. But we're happy to have your voice here, and I'm very, very appreciative of your willingness to come and back with us. I wish we had a picture of you to put on it. We didn't have enough time to do that. So we're gonna move right along, and what gets me is that you qualified after such a horrific head injury, that you qualified for the military, and were able to serve. How was that done?
Well, I had a full recovery. It took several years, like I said, being in the school and then getting all my motor skills back. But to your point, the doctors had told my mother and myself years later, when I got a clean bill of health, that it was 1 in a million. That it was, like you said, it was a miracle. God had other plans for me.
God had other plans, and you're, and that is.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
No, go ahead, I'm sorry, please.
Okay, you spoke about your grandfather in the beginning, and then you turned right back around and started about your father saying, this is in Spanish it is given to him, but it means show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. And in life, you said if you have to make sure that you are. Excuse me, I'm trying to get this. I apologize for that. Make sure you're willing to live with the choices that you make. And to me, what it is that you've had some terrible run-ins and you've had some abandonments, but you're not blaming anyone. And I'm wondering what is the spirit that you have, because after suffering so much with that, and then going through the gangs and and abuse, how did you relieve yourself of blaming or shame or any of the kind of things that keep people locked up and unable to come out of those lives of bondage and gangs and whatever? What was it that freed you and to make you think that you can, that the world was yours, or whatever the vision was that you had to keep moving forward?
Well, my mother had taught me that there are no victims, only those who refuse to make a choice, and not to be pointing fingers and blaming other people when things don't go right. And life is tough, and I've had a lot of things go wrong for me, and I've lost money and making bad deals, and but no, it's risk versus reward, right? You got to challenge yourself, and that's why I wanted to write these books to challenge these kids and teach these kids and adults that gang banging and violence is not a lifestyle but a death style, and the ultimate weapon is not a loaded gun but an educated mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to mentor these young boys and men to never put their hands on a woman, never, no matter what, because see, women are not just beautiful and smart, Mama Joe, but it's because women are the greatest gifts that God ever created in this lifetime.
My Lord, my
So
Lord.
that's what I'm teaching these kids. We got our books into 28 Illinois State Prison libraries, so I could help with the recidivism, to get these guys and girls motivated to get out and stay out and become assets to society versus a liability, right? So we're in the prison systems. Last year, I met with Jesse White before he retired, and he launched the books into, I think it was like 150 libraries across the state. So, the challenge I would say that I'm facing here is with certain groups is that if you fix the problem, people lose their jobs, and then you're dealing with unions, contracts, and paychecks. So they'd rather put Band-Aids on bullet wounds and call it a good day, which is why when I received the Ambassador for Peace Award recently from the United Peace Federation and Women's Federation for World Peace and ACLC churches, to be able to be blessed to participate with you and the ACLC, so we can go out there together and create a culture of calm.
A culture
right?
of calm, exactly.
And 100%.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be part of the solution unless you're part of the process. So people have to get involved. So I'm involved now, like you and others that we mutually know, and others that will meet together going forward. And the journey is to change the narrative.
That's it.
And let's bring some normality back to the world. I mean, COVID forever will change the world. It's never going to be the same. And our kids are never going to be the same unless we do something that's going to help make them go in a different direction. Did you know that 31% of all 8th graders across the U.S. can barely read at the grade level? Only 31%. And only 24% of 8th graders across the U.S. can do mathematics at the grade level. We have a failing system.
A system that has failed. 31% you can't pass with a 31%. It's 70%. No. But you don't even admit your grade is. That's a D. And one of the schools, one of the things was I'm going to be going from commercial, but I'm going to ask Naima if she can Sharam to put that video on so people can see and hear how you were received when your book was used at a school, Hernandez Elementary School, and how these children were taught, and the teachers taught your book at the school.
Yes.
And it's an amazing sight to see how these young people responded to you. It was like you were a rock star. Some people say, if you were in my time with Walt Disney, say, "Oh my God, Mickey Mouse." I mean, it was just rocket high. They were just so happy to see you, and it connected. And so I just want those who are on the Blogtalk to hear this video, hear your message, and hear the joy and the enthusiasm of the children who had read your book. Teachers had gotten this book for them, and so that they can do it. And this was at the Irene C. Hernandez Middle School.
Girls, please join me in welcoming our very own international award.
There they are screaming as you are entering the room with your cap on. You are a man in black. And giving them high fives for those of you who are not seeing this. He's walking down the aisle and the kids are up in their seats and he's giving high fives to the left and the right side of the aisle. And I see some of them still trying to reach him. Oh gosh, look here. He's gonna let one of the kids put his hat on one of the. Oh, did you give that kid your hat? Oh my gosh. The girls. Okay, he's going to the stage now. For those of you on Blogtalk Radio. This is amazing. Can we get more volume?
I have a question. Are you guys ready?
Thank you.
The greatest gift today is a title, Yes, You Can Change, and Yes, You Can Grow, and yes, you can be anybody you want to be, but you gotta believe. You gotta believe, and believe is like air. It's in your shoe. Even though you can't see, you need to survive. So you know you can't see her, we still breathe, right? And even though you can't see God, we still believe, right? And that's my little brothers and sisters, it's called faith. Faith to be anybody you want to be. My whole life, people said to me, Robert, you ain't never gonna be nobody. I love you too.
I love you too. And this was the welcoming that our guest here, Dr. Robert Renteria, had at the Irene C. Hernandez School. And right now we're going to go into our commercial and come right back. And then I want to hear from you, Dr. Robert. Tell me how you felt on that day. And so we'll go to our commercials and we'll be right back and hearing him as he impacts upon our young people. Thank you so much. What a great.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, childcare services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, this is John Alexander.
And I'm Naima Latif. Meet people like you who are making a positive difference in the world.
Big difference.
Watch us every day on The Media Connection at www.youtube.com/The Media Connection TV.
YouTube it. We'll see you soon.
Well, here we are again. Thank you so much, CEO Naima Latif, for your engineering and your love and keeping this program flowing. On the Female Solution, I'm Mama Joy, here today on Walk in Your Authority with Dr. Robert Renteria, from the author of the book, From the Barrio to the Boardroom. And so he's been sharing with us his story, his experience, and how the book that he wrote, through the help and the assistance of the Chicago public school system, who were so impressed with the book and was able to see how that book could make a difference to the climate that he calls the climate of comment, climate of calm, and a climate which would diffuse the violence that is erupting in every school, just about every school in our nation, in communities. And so we're back out from our commercial. And so let's look into this and see what it is that you want us to do and how do you figure working this strategy out? Because I'm on board with you. And this thing also is generational. This curriculum that you have two kinds of curriculums. One that is focused on academics, and one that is of faith. And that operation on faith is a curriculum that can be used in any faith base. You know, right now, that word faith-based is also found in our police districts here in Chicago. We have faith-based initiatives in our police departments, and many of them, they have prayer and work through the community. So I'm wondering, even with this book, how they can too look at your book, and your book to me confirms, when they're receptive of your book, it's like a confirmation to me that we are connecting. It is a very vital connecting piece to assure us that we're on the right track, and to be that piece that encourages us. As you said here, you too can chase the American dream, not the American dream that our parents had, but an American dream that can encompass in everybody, men, women, children, black, whites, and don't even look at the color, because we're all one family. We're all part of the human family. So how can we chase this American dream? And what is the difference between this American dream that you're offering us through this Barrio to the Boardroom that is different from the American dream of when I was a child or you were a child? Because it is a different American dream.
The kids are reacting to the books the way they are because they're living the life today that we lived back then. So it's actually their story too. So the book is giving them hope, and it's teaching them that the greater the struggle, the greater the victory. Their pain, my pain, your pain, our pain is not in vain. So it's teaching them, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, how to make a way out of no way. So, and if the dream is big enough, the odds don't even matter. So for me, I never measured a person's success by the size of their pocketbook, right? There's a lot of people who are plumbers, electricians. I mean, it could be whatever it is that their field that they've chosen to go into. You know, it could be academics. It could be a business. But as long as they're happy and they've got a well-rounded family base that they can lean on, because there's nothing more important in this lifetime than family. So the book teaches you how to protect it and respect it and not abuse the privilege. So the way that I see this unraveling to really create that culture of calm we're talking about and build communities, we have to collaborate together, right? It's not a me thing, it's a we thing. We have to unite, because united we stand, divided we will fall. And this effort that we make is not about blue states or red states, but rather about the United States of America, one nation under God.
Yes.
These books teach kids to love each other, take care of each other, because that's how the foundation of this world was built. And I believe if we build on that foundation, Mama Joy, then we can be a champion of this place here in Chicago that we call home, to take care of our families, our neighbors, our community, our great city, and then beyond. So as an example now, with all the stuff that's happening in Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson should implement this program as an anti-violence prevention program. It's already used across the country. It's in 25 other countries around the world. So we are scaling because we're partnering with a lot of different groups.
Yes.
What I want to do, Mama Joy, with you and the other clergies is an anti-violence coalition to go out there and lift our kids up so they too can spread their wings and fly like the angels God intended them to be. If we bring God back to schools, we are going to change the narrative, because the schools are taking God out of the classroom.
Yes.
They're taking the flag out of the classroom, which
Yes.
is, duty, honor, country, patriotism out of the classroom, and they replace it with poison. They're trying to control our kids. And we need to give these kids tools that are culturally relevant, that will help them to think and understand that there's consequences. So
Yes.
if there's anyone listening or anybody that we know collectively, let's build our own army, because it's not, the system isn't going to fix it for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have to fix it because the system is broken. So I believe that the churches and a program like this, I can tell you that and it's not just for Latino kids, mind you. I mean, when they had the riots in Ferguson, Missouri, you may or may not know this, but they brought me into Ferguson to talk to the kids about breaking the racial divide.
No.
And I had the same reaction in Ferguson that we had here in Chicago. And when the superintendent and the principal said, "Wow, the way they reacted to you, and you're not black," and I said, "Listen, they don't know they're black either. Kids don't know color. Kids know love."
Come on
That's
now.
why I say we have to love each
Come
other.
on now.
And
Come on now.
take a page out of their book.
It's
love that's going to conquer all things.
That's it. Now that's the key. It's in the older, that's the color consciousness. That's not the reality. We all a part of God's garden. As a minister told me, a pastor, she says, we're all a part of God's garden. And we are being nurtured and nourished, not just with God as our father, but with God as our mother too. And that's where our values come from, both sides, knowing that God is both our mother and our father, so we can edify both girls and boys into understanding that we all have a piece of this divine authority. And we walk in that to be, as you say, an army of peace, army of love, an army of encouragement, smiles. Every day we can do something to make a difference. And you have this note here around your book. You said, never be afraid to take the shot, because the two greatest days in your life are the day you were born and the day you realized why you were born. And you're making yourself, you say, I'm proud to lead by example and tell you that I've closed my business and taken a blind leap of faith to serve a higher purpose. I am now the founder of chairman of the board from the Barrio Foundation. Walk with me. And this is not a foundation that somebody else put you in, but this is a foundation that you created. You created. And can you tell us more about this foundation and how we can be supportive of it, where it is, and is it one, and how far widespread is it?
Well, thank you. The foundation has multiple partners, right? Like I said, we work with across the country, and they can find us at fromthebarrio.com website. It's from the Barrio, B as in boy, ARRIO.com. They can also contact me directly, and I'll give you that number. It's 312-933-5619. And I would say that what I've witnessed in the last 18 years is it's helping kids with their character, it's teaching them pride, accomplishment, and self-esteem. It's moving people in the right direction, right? So the foundation it's being used more as an anti-violence prevention program, but it's also not just for kids; it's for adults. And
yes, it is.
There's just multiple groups who are grabbing this as a teaching tool, right? To help kids and adults, as I said before, to find a way, make a way out of no way. So you can contact us. I'd be happy to collaborate with you. The foundation itself is located here in Illinois, but as I mentioned, we have partners across the United States. I work as an ambassador also for the World Boxing Council, the WBC, and they are now in 171 countries around the world. So the Barrio books is on the table with the WBC to be the official books for the WBC worldwide, and that's on the table for 2024. So at the end of the day, it's not about my story. It's our story. It's the kids' story. And so these are culturally relevant teaching tools for the kids. See, traditional learning teaches quantitative. It's like pre and post surveys and that data collection. How's it working for you? We have a failing system. We're more about qualitative, right? The body of work that's created. You know, I that speech that you saw a little while ago with the kids, on that day, I had a little girl come up to me and she says, Mr. Renteria, I loved your book. And I said, thank you. She goes, I wanted you to know I was going to kill myself until I read your book. That little girl now graduated high school and is on her way to college. Save a life.
Save a life.
So I believe that God has put his hands on this, and I've witnessed in my own life, because God saved my life, that God is saving souls, and Barrio books and the program itself are saving lives in real time.
You know, I tell you, I'm really hearing you and saving lives, and not to mention stabilizing lives through stabilizing their minds, giving them hope, giving them purpose. Putting prayer back into the church, back in the schools is very important, because there is a separation of church and state, but church is not the spirit of life. You have school spirit. We need to be able to appeal to the government that we understand and accept the separation of church and state, or religion and the schools. But there is no separation of the spirit of humanity. The spirit of life is in everything, and appealing on the spirit of life and the presence of this power that we know exists, that there should be put in place prayer, a prayer which all can accept, because we need it, because the presence is there. And if we cannot put prayer back into the school, there's no protection for our children. So how we word this, how we promote it is very important, but we cannot sit still until we do that one thing. That's, to me, is foundational. Prayer has to go back into the school. Love, the spirit of love has to be put there. The spirit of peace must be put back in there. The spirit of that dream and that whatever it is that you feel you purpose and God has purposed you to achieve, that you can do it. And I love what you're saying, that it's time for us to take a stand and draw. He said, your stand. Each one of us have a responsibility. And you said today, right now, it is the time for you to take a stand and draw your own deep line in the sand. Make the choice and the decision that this is your time, and that you're not going to take no for an answer. And the day that you were born is when your time began. And when you leave this planet and your body's planted back into the earth, or whatever your choice of how you want your body disposed of, that is the end of your time. But we must do something, because the spirit goes on, the fight goes on, or I should say not the fight, but the challenge goes on for us to bring and make this climate a climate of peace, a climate of love, a climate of peace, harmony and unity. We must unite for the peace for this world. Hello. You have any party thoughts? I just love this, and I'm so grateful. You came on, and you could have said, hey, look, I'm not going to be seen. You came on a line, even though you weren't able to be visible, but you came, and I appreciate that so very much. You have no idea how I appreciate that, because your message is vital to this nation. It's vital to all of us here in this country. You know how precious you are to us. So what parting words you have for us? Miracle.
I'm going to say that from your lips to God's ears, Mama Joy, that we can change the landscape for our youth across America, starting right here, right now in Chicago. And I challenge people to get involved. I welcome a call to sit down and break bread, any place, anytime. so that we can help make sure that we're not burying more babies. You know, they're talking about all these deaths that are happening in Chicago, and they're addressing it as numbers. These are not numbers. These are little boys and girls who are not going to be there for Valentine's Day or for Easter. They're not going to graduate. They're not going to go to prom. There won't be no kids sitting at the Thanksgiving dinner table, and there won't be kids opening presents next year for Christmas. So we have to unite so we can make sure that we build a better future and a safe streets for our children.
I say this every sermon I end. We're not birthing children to bury them. We have more children coming into the church for the first time in coffins than that's being baptized. That should not be the case. That should not be the case. I want to thank you so very much as we close out today. Thank you for being our guest today, Dr. Renteria, advocate, promoter of peace, ambassador of peace here in Chicago and this nation. And I'm just grateful for the book, From the Barrio to the Boardroom. As we close out, thank you. Join with Mama Joy again, second Saturdays. Walk Your Authority. Dr. Renteria, you are walking in your divine authority. And we want to thank you for that. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. As we close out, join us again. Naima, we can close out. If you want to take a commercial, that'll be great. Thank you. Thank you, Shalom, Israel. Thank you.
We've come to the end of our show today, but you can hear every show in the archives at www.blogtalkradio.com/.
Thank you for your comments.
Female-solution. You can also hear today's show on the Female Solution Facebook page. Go to www.facebook.com/thefemalesolution. Leave your comments about today's show. You can always reach me on my website at www.naimalatif.com. That's www.naimalatif.com. Watch our TV shows, listen to our radio shows, order our books, and be sure to get your copy of the book, The Female Solution. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussion. And to our global family listening from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, Sheshe, India, Zanyaba, Japan, Arigato, Korea, Kamsamnida, Russia, Spasiba, Germany, Danke, Poland, Jean Couillon, France, Merci, Spain, Gracias, Italy, Grazie, Egypt, Shukran, Ghana, Medasi, Nigeria, Eshe, South Africa, Nyabonga, Senegal, Geret, Kenya, Asante, Israel, Toda, Pakistan, Shukriya, Afghanistan, Tashakur, Saudi Arabia, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you. And may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, childcare services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.